Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Digital Humanities Coffee Hour for February here at ASU. I will introduce our speaker in just a moment, but first, thank you everyone for being here today. For those that don't know me, I'm the Director of Digital Humanities and Research at the Lincoln Center for Applied Ethics here at ASU, and I also lead our Digital Humanities Initiative out of the Lincoln Center. So just a statement before we get started, a brief word about the Digital Humanities Initiative. If you want to get involved, join us. Our listserv is available on the Lincoln Center website. I'll maybe put a link in chat in just a moment directly to there if you want to join us. And then another just brief word. So we practice, as all organizations under ASU, inclusive excellence. So discrimination and harassment are not tolerated in our spaces. We support one another's work and livelihood here at the DHI and at the Lincoln Center. A few thank yous. Thank you to Dean Cohen and the Division of Humanities for funding that make events like this possible. And also thank you, especially thank you, to our Digital Humanities Initiative Steering Committee for their time and labor that make events like this possible. And that is Dr. Sarah Florini, Dr. Sharena Ferrando, who's saying hello in chat, Dr. Mike Tuller, who's here in the room with us today, and Dr. Jonathan Hope, who may or may not be joining us in just a moment on Zoom. And now, please continue to say hello in chats, and we will maybe just introduce ourselves later, but we are here today for a presentation by one of my dear colleagues, Andrea Noguera Henao. I'm going to introduce her now. She's waving hello, and then I'm going to hand the mic over to her for a presentation. And again, we'll have lots of time for discussion and questions. I'm really excited for that as well. So Andrea is a PhD candidate in Hispanic literature and culture at Arizona State University, where she also teaches Spanish. Her dissertation explores trauma and grief in Colombian autobiographical writing, highlighting the intersections between personal narrative and collective memory. Andrea is particularly interested in the role of digital humanities and instructional design in enhancing research and education. She has developed a website based on her dissertation, integrating digital tools to create an interactive and accessible platform that bridges academic scholarship and broader audiences. Through this project, Andrea combines her passion for literature, pedagogy, and technology to showcase the potential of innovative approaches in the humanities. And I am especially excited because this talk really underscores the value of interdisciplinary skills in the work that we do, particularly the integration of design thinking and technology to innovate within our work and within the humanities in particular. And so with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Andrea for her presentation.
Okay, good morning. I'm going to present the website that I created based on my dissertation, because since I started my PhD, I always had this, I always wanted to do something that is, how can I say this, that benefits community, because I always have perceived literature as a means for helping community, for helping people. And it was a little frustrating for me to leave everything just in a paper. I know a paper is meaningful, and I know many people have access to a paper, but usually people from academia, but I wanted to go farther. So when I found the digital humanities option, and then I thought with Liz about creating a website, that was awesome for me, because I thought, wow, now finally I'm gonna make at least my work accessible to other people. And thank you for giving me the opportunity for sharing this, because I would like to encourage other people to do the same, because I think the discoveries we do in humanities are huge and meaningful, and sometimes they just stay in academia. So I encourage people to go farther, or other fields, or other people who work really with communities. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna share my presentation. Okay, so my dissertation is basically trauma and grief in Colombian self-referential writing. The title is longer than that, but I wanted to make it accurate for this purpose. And it's an approach from digital humanities and instructional design, what I'm presenting today. Okay, so the content is, I'm gonna contextualize the dissertation a little bit and this project per se. I'm gonna show digital humanities as a tool for dissertation, instructional design principles applied, the website as a research showcase, the impact that it would have once I publish it, because I haven't published because my dissertation hasn't been approved, future reflections, a conclusion, and I'll be open to your questions. Okay, so a little bit about me. My name is Andrea, and my last name is Noguera Henao. Over the past few years, I focused on studying Hispanic literature. Specifically, I've spent the last 3 years analyzing 4 Colombian literary works written by women in the present century. These authors use self-referential writing styles such as autobiography, memoir, and autofiction. There are many other autoreferential subgenres, but I'm focused on these. Okay. So now I'm going to contextualize the dissertation per se, and I'm going to talk about the literary works I'm making reference to. So their works explore personal experiences of grief and trauma after the violent loss of a loved one, challenges they faced during their preteen and teenage years, how they use writing to process and resolve these experiences. And this topic interested me for several reasons. First of all, I deeply appreciate Colombian literature, because I don't know if it's because it's my culture, it's something I grew up with, or just because I love it. And as a Colombian, the language, the themes, and structure feel personally meaningful to me. So I kind of walk with the authors through their narratives. And initially, I planned to study magical thinking in Colombian society through literature. However, during my research, I found many authors writing self-referential works about grief and trauma, so that caught my attention. And these 3 women stood out because they are contemporary female authors. 2 of them tell a very similar story, but in completely different ways, even though both use self-referential writing. So it was interesting for me to see the different ways to convey the same pain. Now I'm going to contextualize academically, and this research and literary critique fulfills the requirements for my dissertation in the PhD program Hispanic Literature and Culture. However, I wanted to go beyond traditional academic expectations by presenting it in a digital open access format. I believe that art and literature, while not inherently utilitarian, undoubtedly help us grow as individuals and as members of society. For me, it is essential that research in the humanities strives to reach the broader public. This means not only using accessible platforms like the internet, but also presenting the content in a user-friendly way, guided by the principles of instructional design. The 3 key principles that underpin this project are clarity, engagement, and accessibility. Clarity for ensuring that the content is easy to understand and navigate for any kind of person, not only academics. Engagement, creating an interactive and compelling experience for the audience, because we know that nowadays we claim for that. And accessibility, making the work available to as many people as possible, regardless of their background or resources, because we have seen in this last decade that that's what enriches knowledge, the interaction we have globally. So this presentation has its purpose, and also I'm gonna tell you about the purpose of the website and the purpose of the dissertation per se. So for this presentation, the purpose is to highlight how your website serves as a bridge between academic research and public knowledge. And this is something I constantly tell Liz, that is something super simple to do. You don't need to be an engineer. So the purpose of this presentation is to encourage to do it because it's not that hard. And it's also, you learn, by doing it, you learn many tools that are useful nowadays as professionals. And the purpose of the website, I aim to bridge the gap between academic research and the general public, fostering a deeper connection between the humanities and society. Now, the research. Oh. The research context. So the central team. So I'm gonna talk about the research person, my dissertation, basically. So the central theme is self-referential writing, helps rework memories, process trauma and grief, build identity, and foster resilience by redefining past experience and shaping future perspectives. And since this is the central theme, I also thought it was important to share it with the community, because sometimes people are suffering a lot and they just don't know how to express it. And I think that's why literature and academia is so important, because it helps human beings to express what they are living and they can't. It gives us a voice. The importance is this topic is relevant both in Colombia and globally, as it highlights writing as a therapeutic instrument for individuals and while contributing to social memory. Methodology. The study involved textual analysis of the literary work supported by theories of autobiography, memory, autofiction, trauma, grief, and melancholy. So basically, the methodology we use in humanities for writing our dissertations. The website is using digital humanities and instructional design concepts and principles. The purpose of the website per se is to make it a tool to disseminate the findings of your research in an accessible manner. It promotes knowledge sharing and accessibility, encourages collaboration and engagement, and enhances visibility and impact. So the key features used for developing this website were intuitive navigation, multimedia elements, and narrative structure. So intuitive navigation, design guides users through the content. It was very much a process of trial and error, because this is something I did for the very first time. But by doing it, I learned, I think, more if I have done a course specifically on that. Multimedia elements, use of images, audio, video, or interactivity to enhance the user experience. But I'm going to talk a little bit about this, how we need to have a balance. And narrative structure, the organization of information to tell a coherent and engaging story. Instructional design principles and their application in the design of a dissertation website. So one of the principles of instructional design is clarity, as I already mentioned, that says that the information should be presented clearly and concisely to avoid cognitive overload, especially when you are aiming for a big audience. Application, specifically on this website, I organize the content into well-defined sections using descriptive headings and subheadings to guide the user. Very much based on the structure of a dissertation, because for some reason a dissertation is organized the way it is according to manuals, because it has logic principles. And I included brief summaries at the beginning of each section, so users can quickly understand the purpose of the information. This was very important, and this is part of trial and error, because at the beginning I didn't have this summary, so when I showed them Liz, she was like a little lost. So this is important to take into account when you create a website. I avoided unnecessary technical jargon and simplified complex concepts, sometimes with visual examples. This is where artificial intelligence helps a lot when we try to use a friendlier language to translate academic language. And it says, sometimes with visual examples because we can't abuse them. And I changed the format to less creative one, kind of same thing with visual examples that we can exaggerate, making it simpler and more linear in certain aspects. I'm gonna talk a little bit about this because first I tried something super visual, super creative, but wasn't that easy for the audience to understand. So it was kind of like this image. It was very complex. So I was, for the sake of being creative, I was sacrificing clarity and simplicity. The second principle is interactivity that triggers engagement. So users should interact with the content to enhance their understanding and retention, and that's the magic of the media we have nowadays. Application on the website. I included interactive elements such as Genially, Blogger, and Canvas, course to keep users engaged. I designed reflective activities like self-assessment questions for users to apply what they learn or compare it to their own experiences. I use intuitive navigation buttons and drop-down menus to allow users to explore the content at their own pace. And I'm planning to include a questions and answers section. So I want to clarify here that the website is not full of these applications, but then I created a course in Canvas. So that would be more like for teaching and for a learning experience. And in that context, with a course on Canvas, I use a lot of buttons, drop-down menus, images, graphics, videos, but not on the website, because a website with all of that is overwhelming. So the website actually called for the need of the design of a course in Canvas, and that's where what's the word? Instructional design started to be part of my project because it was at the beginning only a digital humanities project. The principle of logical organization, information should be organized in a sequential and logical manner to facilitate learning. Sometimes logical, so sometimes I think something is logical, but not for the whole audience. So that's why I based very much on the structure of the dissertation, and I try to test it with other people. Hey, what do you think about this order? Is it clear? So other people were telling me about that. Application on the website. There is a logical sequence to the links that aligns with the order of the dissertation and consequently with the logic of a research project. I use a site map so users can visualize the overall structure and easily navigate between sections. You can create a visual map or a website map with, there are many software around to do so, or you can do something as simple as just a table of contents that everybody will understand. So it's not that hard. I grouped related information into thematic models to support progressive understanding. Multimedia principle, the use of multiple formats, text, images, audio, video enhances learning. And this is what we experience nowadays in our mission as professors. So the application on the website, I included graphics and diagrams to visually represent complex data. I added explanatory videos where I detailed the key aspects of my research. I use audio to complement the text, providing narration of the most important points. No, I didn't. I did it at the beginning, yes. But it was too complex. It was messy. It was stressful to see it. And then I thought, but maybe not all audience is really interested in going that deep. So then is when I created the course in Canvas. And all of this is in Canvas. So this is more, I think this principle works better when we think about instructional design than user experience. I think nowadays many students or young people even, they complain about being overwhelmed by all the resources that are outside. And it's because there's not a structure. It's not because of the availability of resources per se, it's a lack of structure. So yeah, so a website can be that stressful. So a course gives the structure that the person needs for a learning experience. So I want to demonstrate the website. So I'm going to go there. Can you see the website? Oh no, sorry. I need to stop sharing. So first of all, I describe why this website, the importance of open knowledge and public humanities. And this is based on some researches that I'm including here. So I've included the theory that support why I'm doing this. I also included some Margaret's art, and I explained that I don't know, but those images I think are super related to self-writing and the connection with the subconscious. But also because Margaret has no copyrights at this moment, it's public. So you need to be super careful when you create a website about what is legal or not. So that's something that is time demanding to research what you can do, what you can't do. That was time demanding, and so I just want to warn you about that. And then I explain here clearly why this website and why the use of these images. Then I was telling you about a website map. I tried to make one, but I had to use it was complex to learn the platform for doing so. And I think just doing it in a simple linear way that doesn't have to be graphical, just that table of content was enough. So I have here all this content of these tabs is here, but in a linear way. I think we all, even young people, old school people like me and young people, we have that need of structure, of linearity. No matter how systemic we think nowadays, we still have that need of linearity. I do here an introduction for the dissertation. So now I'm starting to make public the content of the dissertation, but in a more friendly way, which is a website. And this is basically what is in the dissertation, the abstract, the dedication. Also, my dissertation is in Spanish. And I wanted to do this website in English in order to reach a broader audience. So that was also another reason for making this website. So, but the dissertation is here in the website. Once my dissertation is approved, I'm going to publish this website so people will have immediate access without having to go to a database. So it's just there. I included here the research framework, but in the format of a website. As you can see, I include links here, so it's easier to find things that if it's just a plain text. So you can just go through what is interesting for you or what you need at the moment. You always need to include the citation of the images for copyright reasons. This is an image that is public. I didn't have to pay for it, but I had to research that it was public, so it was okay. This is from the dissertation, justification, objectives. All of that is from the dissertation. Then the theoretical framework. The theoretical framework was super creative. It was cute. It was cool, but it wasn't friendly. Where I created this, so the platform that I use is Google Sites, which is super easy to use. I think it's the easiest platform for creating websites. So I encourage people in humanities that are not engineers to use Google Sites. Super easy to use. So you can include in Google Sites the slides that you have in Google Drive. And it looks super cool, but it was kind of confusing for the user to know what to follow with. Also, Liz was telling me, yeah, but maybe she said it in a very subtle way, but I got the idea. She was like, okay, but what about if someone really needs this information? Because the idea is that this information needs to be useful for other people. And if you have to go to a slide and copy and paste every single slide, so it wasn't that useful. It would be like, yeah, it was kind of friendly and cool for a moment, but not that useful. So I decided to do it in this more simple format, and it looks actually more organized, not so many images, but yeah, and that's what trial and error is. I spent lots of time creating those slides because I also included images that needed to be public, but what it works for the user is the priority. So I did it this way. Then you go to literary review, same thing, same structure. You need to keep the same structure. You need to keep it as standard as possible so the user is not going to be confused. The literary work analysis, same thing. I made the same mistake I made at the beginning. It was super cool, but not good experience for the user. So I just simplify it like this, and I think it's very friendly and easy to understand. The dissertation conclusions, so these are the conclusions for the whole dissertation, each literary work with its analysis. So, and also the conclusions are subdivided by topics. I use these images from a grid that make reference, every image is related to one conclusion. So yeah, and this I created, I wanted something more interactive to give more value to the fact that it is online and is public. So I created this in Genially. So it's called Journey. So I just I created it in Genially and I just embedded in Google Sites. Super easy to do. And here, someone who is experienced, we all experience some kind of traumas or grief, even small ones. So it is helpful for everybody. So this is an introduction of what the activity is. It explains, and then you can decide based on which literary work you want to work, and you can use all of them. You find a prompt here, and then you make your personal experience for healing. It's a beginning for healing. So, and then you have a final work that is going to be something that you can use to create a literary work or an artistic work that's going to help you to heal grief or trauma. Then I created also discussions because I want to publish this and I want people to participate so we can build and make deeper analysis in trauma and grief, and this could be helpful for academics in psychology, psychiatry. So you can give opinions. So this is linked to Blogger. So you can participate via Blogger, and I get the responses. Since I haven't published, I don't have participations yet. Each one of those is a Blogger. Datasets. I'm also a fan of datasets. I love Excel. I'm passionate for classifying information. And so I did it this way. So I created you have access to the spreadsheet via Google that are in Google Drive. Also, this is a way to share something that was super time demanding. So if another person can go this way. So if another person is working in grief and trauma or self-writing, there are already some quotes here classified by author, and this is the bibliography, and everything is classified by theory topics. like trauma, grief, autofiction, autobiography, etc. And since you see here a connection to biographies, so you can go to the bibliography here and you get all the information of the bibliography. So it's also classified by section books, websites, dissertations. So I think it's helpful for people researching. And that's what I want, something searchable, because it's kind of every time we do our research, it's creating the wheel again. So we can contribute that way, I think is good. So here I am supporting why I did this, the way I do it, I did it, and what can be done with these databases. Also, I created these word clouds, and actually, I already had the conclusions of my dissertations, but when I did these word clouds, I actually found new things that were very interesting, and that helped me to polish my conclusions for my dissertation. I created this comparison table, and here I explain the meaning of those word clouds according to my analysis and my perspective, of course. Then you go to the course per se that is in Canvas. So there's a link to the course, Grief and Trauma in Colombian Self-Reproduction Narratives. And also I created this as to include it in my CV, so I can show that I have the capability to create courses applying instructional design principles and tools. So this is also a way to show off that I can do it. So this is the course, and here I include videos and different formats for engaging the audience. And okay, and here I have, can see it because of these. I have cited works. You always need to include citations, but I decided to make it in a more organized way than in a dissertation. So you can find cited works for the digital humanities resources used in this website per se, literary review sources. This is also a suggestion from Liz. I also did like a super creative thing that wasn't useful at all, but this was very useful. This is more friendly and easier for the user. So yeah. But I did in a different part the citation for the images, for the artwork. Is the citation according to Emily. Okay, then I go back to, so that is the website. That's the whole website. And I'm going to conclude telling you that the impact and reflections, the academic and social impact, this website contributes to the dissemination of knowledge and the inclusion of diverse audiences, reflections on the process. I'm not sharing.
The slides are beautiful. It's worth the wait.
Okay, so technical learning, digital humanities, and this is not information design, it's instructional design. There's an error here. Web design, multimedia content, and user experience. So it was an awesome way to learn about these things. I don't have the patience to go through a course, so by doing it, I learned a lot. So I encourage you guys to do the same because we need those skills nowadays. Interdisciplinarity, integration of humanities and knowledge dissemination, pedagogical returning of content, challenges and solutions, but as I have said many times, balancing visual format and interactivity, less is more. That's kind of the lesson that I got. Audience impact, creating tools to make academic research more engaging and understandable. Collaboration and feedback, importance of teamwork and incorporating feedback for improvement. So when you are designing a project like this, you need to ask other people what they think, and they give you ideas. So that was very helpful. So future directions, thematic expansion, for example, in the future, I would like to create a virtual journal featuring academic research accessible to the general public, multimedia technology and educational tools. I plan to design and develop virtual courses based on emerging research trends. I aim to create educational materials to support learning, especially because I see that in United States, education is very much based on research. So if we can include more research in the analysis we do with our students, I think is very useful, is good. Multidisciplinary collaborations. I would like to establish collaborations with researchers and designers from other fields. And also would love to include like engineers or many ideas that I have, but I don't have the ability to manage certain tools. Data analysis. I am interested in integrating data analysis tools to better understand user interactions with the site, optimizing its design and content. So, and you can do that with Google Sites, and it's not, I think there's a free version, let's say, or an open access version. Constant updates. The website should be a living project, so I would like to connect it with specific educational initiatives that will need to be, I will need to find something that, let's say I'm paid for certain projects, so it's worth it for me to be attentive to what people are saying in the website. Otherwise, the project will kind of die, except that the information will be there. But I think what enriches this project is to make people participate. Conclusion and questions and answers. In conclusion, this presentation has explored the intersection of digital humanities and instructional design through the lens of my dissertation research on trauma and grief in Colombian autobiographical writing. I have demonstrated how the website serves as a bridge between academic research and public knowledge, using principles of instructional design to enhance user engagement and understanding. By incorporating intuitive navigation, multimedia elements, and interactive features, the site not only showcases my core findings, but also makes them accessible to a broader audience. This project reflects my commitment to creating impactful and inclusive scholarship that resonates beyond academia. That's it. Now I'm open to your questions.
Woo! People are clapping, but you can't see the emojis. Thank you, Andrea. All right, so I just put this into chat, but I will, I'll say it here as well. If you'd like to unmute and ask a question, please use the raise hand function. If you're in chat, if you're in person, you can also raise your hand, and I promise I'll see you. If you'd like a moderator, which is me, to read your question aloud, please type it into chat at any time. You're getting some more emojis clapping in the chat, Andrea.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, just thank you all for being here today. We do have a question in chat. Lacey, would you like to unmute, or I can read it?
Sure. Yeah, I'd be fine. Can you hear me okay?
Perfectly.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Andrea. That was yeah, just really interesting to learn about your process. And I really appreciated the honest insights you gave about, you know, kind of how the methodology was informing your work, and then how that sometimes in practice you found something different. It's just really cool to get insight into that step by step. I was wondering, who do you think are the primary audiences for the website? First, I was wondering, like, are there different audiences between the campus and the website? It sounds like there might be. My understanding, please correct me if I'm wrong, but so you haven't published it yet. But do you plan to do any outreach to increase their engagement with the site? How do you plan to make this site accessible to your intended audience? And then do you have any plans to get feedback from them on their user experience that would then inform your ongoing development of the website? So lots of questions, please answer whichever strikes you as most relevant to the work that you're continuing to do.
Oh, well, I tried to remember a little bit. When I was thinking about my audience, this is something, yeah, Liz told me many times that I kind of forgot to make it explicitly in the project. But my very first audience were like institutions who work with community. Because as you can see, the project is based on, or the dissertation is based on trauma and grief. So I wanted to create something open for them to know how to manage those problems in human beings. So it's very much like social concern, wanting to help people. Also, I was thinking about people sometimes go through these processes, having any idea what they are suffering because they don't know how to express it. And something that I love about academia is that even personally, academia has given me the words to express what I have inside. So if I can show like someone, we all are Googling things when we are having hard moments. So if someone is having a hard time experiences those things and they find like there's theory about that and they are not, let's say, for example, they don't need to feel guilty of anything. So that's my purpose, to make people more knowledgeable, like any kind of person more knowledgeable about these theories, so they know how to manage those things better. Also, and this is something Liz helped me with because I kind of had the idea, but it was very raw. So also like for teachers and students, and that is when I created the course in Canvas, because I think like this when you study a dissertation carefully and you study not only the content but also the structure, you're helping your students to develop their work later. So I think that was another audience that I had in mind. What was another question? How do I plan to make it more accessible, right? Because yeah, I published it, I made a trial, and then I Googled it from an incognito, and it wasn't there. It was like, nobody was gonna see my website. So yeah, I think I need to find a way to do so. I'm also creating a YouTube channel when where I am showing my work, and it's more like it's friendlier. So also a direction from my YouTube channel to the website. That's how I can do it. Yeah, but I would like to do it more like with the support of the academia, maybe. But I don't.
You presented at ACH.
I also presented in events like this. So yeah. What was another question? Trying to remember.
My final question was just about like soliciting feedback from your audiences to get a better idea of what works for them. If you have any plans to do that, or just, or if you found anything in your instructional design research on best practices for that. I don't know. I just
like to ask them to get some feedback from their experience.
Yeah, like what works best for them.
That's a good point. Yeah, I created feedback, but more from the content about the experience. But I will take that into account for sure. Yeah, I didn't think about it, to be honest, but now that you're telling me, yeah, it's super helpful. Thank you.
And Lacey, that's such a good thing to like generally talk about too, because I think you have considered the user experience, Andrea, but it's how do you further invite that right into like a direct feedback form, or user experience is so big in web design, and also I think in digital humanities. So and in instructional design. So I feel like bringing in all of those theories would be an awesome next step for the project. Thank you, Lacey.
Yeah, great idea. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that Krista, you have your hand raised. We'd if you'd like to. Hi, Krista.
Hi. Yes, I just wanted to pop in and say thank you so much for sharing. I think hearing about your journey doing this has been helpful for me to get a better perspective as I'm lost in the sauce of my thesis and trying to make a good headway again. This has been really inspirational for me, thinking about what my output in my research can be. And I have taken copious amounts of notes and ideas. So I appreciate the inspiration and thank you for presenting.
Oh, thank you. Actually, this is something that I think it helps people. It's kind of like a auto pedagogic exercise, if you want to call it like that, because actually it helped me to clarify the content of my dissertation. It helped me to clarify a lot. When you have to put things in a format and in a language that it has to be reachable for everybody, you realize, oops, I think I was confused. I think I wasn't that clear as I thought. So by doing this, it also helps you to develop your own research and to write.
Thank you. Thank you, Krista. Thank you, Andrea. I'm gonna tag in Erica, who I think has a question.
I do. So this represents so much personal labor on your own part in developing this website. And you dealt with how you're addressing copyright with other people's work. But I'm really curious how you're going to think of copywriting your own work in this digital space. Because when you put something out there to the public, it's very easy for somebody else to claim that if you don't have a way to explicitly sort of create a digital copyright around it that's open access or uses Creative Commons, or if you've thought about any of the ways that you can
control it.
Yeah, control that.
Yeah, I have thought about that, and yeah, I had actually many projects in mind that I stopped because I was like, oh, but yeah, it's my work, and but this one, I think, okay, the university, ASU already gave me a lot, or I already got my reward, and universities are here for sharing knowledge. So I think once it's published, I think it's totally fine to share it. But yeah, for personal projects, I think it's, yeah, and this is something I find like a huge boundary in the digital humanities is the thing related to copyrights, that I have many ideas, but you need to monetize things. So yeah, I don't
So
know.
if you use something like a Creative Commons license on it, you're not monetizing it, you're just saying other people can't monetize my work.
Mhm.
Other people can't take this and claim it as their own work. And it can still be open access to everybody else that wants to use it. You're just trying to, and it's really difficult to enforce,
Mhm.
but if somebody does go out there and take everything that you've done and claim it as their own, at least you have some sort of recourse to put to. This is
Yeah.
the copyright that you're violating. This is my intellectual labor, and use it in good faith because that's how I created it and put it out there.
Yeah, but I totally agree with that. What you're saying, that I would love to share many things because as a teacher, I think I have that in me, that I love teaching and I love making things complex, turning it into something simple. And I had many projects to do that through the digital humanities. But yeah, that's a problem that I always find. Oh, but myself, I will be violating copyrights and yeah, stealing the work of other people. Yeah, you need to be super careful with that. And
Other
fortunately,
people should be super careful with your stuff too.
exactly.
It goes both ways.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. That's a good point.
Was that, did you have another question?
I do have one more, and that is that because you created so many robust, like evaluative metrics on this, you have self-assessment, check-ins with people that are using it, you have the blogger feature, you have Canvas. Are you planning on doing anything with that data to see how people use the website, either to create resources in the future or to revise the way that the website is being used and presented?
Yeah. Well, I don't know how to respond that. Be sincere and the second professional. At this point of my life, I'm about to finish my PhD. So I don't know what are going to be my opportunities in the labor world. So depending on that, If I'm going to work as an instructional design, I will focus more on that. If I'm going to work in a non-profit organization, I will focus more on trauma, grief, and people sharing things. So it depends on what I'm going to do in the future.
You've left a lot of options open just by creating this for those different pathways.
Yeah, I
Bravo, good
I
job.
hope so. Thank you.
Yeah, it's almost, Andrea, what you've created is a resource and you've created a course and you've created all of these things for other people. But I think what's so beautiful about it is that it also ended up being a portfolio for the things that you're capable of. And I think it's a good model, whether folks build this in Google Sites or somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right, a good model for that.
I actually want to encourage other graduate students to do something like that. Especially from South America, we are not used to show our work. A certificate is enough for us, but I think that in the United States, you need to show what you're capable to do. So start the sooner to create something and put it online, because that's what employers are looking for. To see your work, but like evidence of things. So yeah.
If there are any, if y'all want to type questions in chat, I am super happy to read them aloud. We had a few people that didn't get the Zoom link, Andrea, so we absolutely are going to post this on YouTube to be sure that everyone can see this presentation. I just saw my emails, so Cynthia in particular said that she was here.
Awesome.
Just had to tell you. I do have a question, but I will pause for a moment in case anyone else has one. Okay, all right, so you talked a lot, I think, talked beautifully in so many ways about really public humanities work and how important public humanities work is. You have these beautiful phrases. So how your work, both I think in your dissertation and on the website, allows folks to walk with the authors through these narratives. And you're allowing others to walk with these authors through the website, through all these resources that you've created. So I was wondering if you took inspiration for that from open scholarship, open knowledge production, those kind of theories of digital humanities scholarship that you want to talk about a little bit more. What were your inspirations for this work that you were doing?
For this website?
Yeah.
As I told you, like from the very beginning of my PhD, so I come from Colombia. We don't invest much in research. So the little research that we do, we immediately put it in practice in communities. For me, it was a shock to come to the United States, in which you guys invest a lot in research, which is wonderful. But the way I always work was think that you research, think that you use in communities. So for me, it was a little kind of frustrated not to be able to develop a project instead of a dissertation, but academia is academia, especially in humanities. So that was in my mind for a long period of time. I was like, I really want to do something. I would really like to create a magazine that is accessible to everybody. But as Erica was saying, I can steal the work of others. So that's why creating a website is okay. I contribute in this little way. And by doing this, I'm encouraging other academics to do the same. And showing that you don't need to be an engineer to find a way to put your put a little bit of from you in the digital humanities world. So we can just by sharing our thesis or our dissertation or a paper that was already published, just to share it this way is contributing to the digital humanities. Maybe it's not a huge project with a community, but who knows, maybe one day it could have a big impact in communities.
Thank you. So I will ask one more question. I had some, we have just a little bit of time. So you mentioned AI, artificial intelligence, as a way to use it for public writing or writing for the public. can you tell us just a little bit in the last 3 minutes that we have?
Okay.
About how you used AI or how you see other folks using AI for that purpose?
Yeah, as I told you, I've always been a teacher in my essence. So I love turning something complex into something simple, but it's super time demanding. Actually, when I started my dissertation, something I wanted was a dissertation that was hypnotic to read, easy to read, that you can just absorb it. And it was super time demanding. When ChatGPT came to my life, that changed everything, because now I was doing that super quickly. So what I do is I use this artificial intelligence to turn something complex into something simple in terms of language, format. Yeah, and you can use it as for you can think about different audiences. I never been diagnosed with what's the word, attention deficit disorder. But I think I'm kind of like that. So I always try to make things like easier for a person with attention deficit disorder. So with the help of an AI, I ask questions about how to do it more accessible for someone with attention deficit disorder, and has been super helpful. I didn't have to study how to do it or spend time me by myself rewriting things. So yeah.
Thank you. And if we had more time, we would talk more about AI and and you know, how to work with AI and how to consider ethics and things like that. But I do want to say thank you so much, because there was something, I'll end on this, that a lot of what you were talking about today, especially when you were touring the website, I heard you talk about ethical web design, right? And how ethical web design takes time. And it takes a lot of labor, right?
Yeah.
As you said, Andrea. So I just want to say thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
I got the final comment. Sorry, y'all. But let's just give one more round of applause or emoji applause for Andrea. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Thank you everyone for being here today.
Yeah.
If you have to run to another thing, we'll see you soon. We have the room for about 10 more minutes. So we'll chill in here if anyone would like to say hello. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Lacey. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Krista.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
What a
Yeah.
cool project.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love seeing an application like that, where you make it accessible.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So much of research is paywalled, especially dissertations.
Yeah.
Not paywalled, like even if you can't access it, it's inaccessible.
Mhm.
Just by virtue of the format, how we write in the academy and the way that we publish things. And it's just this huge piece that just lives somewhere and doesn't usually get
Yeah.
translated and made accessible. So
Yeah.
it's really cool.
It was really nice because it was kind of like something that's the beauty of sharing with people, because we kind of had ideas and we talking together, boom, the idea just emerged. Because I wanted to do something with Python, something super complex, and I was like, no, I can't learn those things in months. So just find this a tool that is easy to use. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Well,
Thank you.
Python's next though, Andrea, right? Python's next. Mike's. All right. Thank you all.
Please copyright it.